दीनबन्धो गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरोन् दिनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यैश्वरम् Hare Krishna, welcome. Thank you for joining. So, we'll continue with our overview session. You can hear me, right?
Yes, bro, perfectly.
Okay. So, we have been discussing about now the Prachetas. So, Prachetas and Rudragita. Prachetas are the sons of Prachina Barhi. They are in the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj. Okay, and Puranjana was the sorry, and then sorry. Prachina Barhi, his name is Barhi. His actual name is Maharaj Barhi, but uh, he is the father of Prachetas, and he basically he somehow got the culture that no performing sacrifice will actually destroy your sins and give you heaven. So, see, like when we come to spiritual practice, like if you are on one level, you have to go to from that level to you have to go to another level. So, for example, somebody is not devotees when Prabhupada came to the West, some hippies joined him. Hippies are regularly breaking the regulative principles, and and then but their fortune is they got the association of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada in the beginning he tolerated, like no, he gave them his association. And what he told, he just whenever they come, he used to give nice prasadam, and when they come and they used to come and sit in the classes. So along with the hippies, there are some sincere qualified students also, and Prabhupada used to take care of them. And Prabhupada used to the used to not to impose any rules and regulations on the hippies. So, but he was just nice to them and he was welcoming them like that. But after some time, hippies that like who are actually in the free culture, they started liking what Prabhupada is giving, and they started regularly coming. After some time, they said, "Do we have to do anything?" Then Prabhupada said, "If you want, you can chant. You can start chanting. Chanting will actually help you a lot." Then Prabhupada, what it is, they started chanting, and it was continued like that for a few months. And after that, they only thought we should do something more. Then because they are seeing Prabhupada, their Prabhupada's lifestyle and Prabhupada's way of Prabhupada is living everything. And they came and asked Prabhupada, like, do we have to do anything more? And Prabhupada said, no, you just continue. So like that, few more weeks went. Again, they come again and they ask Prabhupada, do we have to do anything more? And like that, it happens 2 3 times. Then Prabhupada said, if you prefer, if you like, if you want to progress spiritually, you give up these things. No meditating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. That was a very heavy thing for them. That's a too much for them. But still, out of the taste that they got from the association of Prabhupada and the spiritual life and the chanting of holy name, the the strength of chanting the holy name, they were able to give up, and they became uh, they moved to the next level. And after that, after some months passed, then Prabhupada initiated them. So like that. So starting, if you see the hippies starting getting in the association of Srila Prabhupada, then started chanting and giving up regulative principles. So they actually getting themselves refined more and more and more. So that's why we get purified more and more. And then Once we get purified so much, then we'll be able to experience the results of our spiritual life. See, right now, like that's why we get attached to one aspect of devotion service. Sevanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Any of these nine principles, one aspect, reading Srimad Bhagavatam or associating with the devotees regularly, mm, that will actually start our spiritual life. So, in the same way, here the father of Prachetas, these Prachetas, they met Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva instructed them about the glories of, like actually they came to perform tapasya. They didn't become they didn't come here to become devotees of Krishna, but they are very qualified, very obedient, and very receptive. So just the way Narada Muni, previously we had the like now like now in the Bhagavatam it will come. Narada Muni instructs Hariyashvas and Shavalashvas. It will come, or it's already covered maybe. So in the same way, Lord, the Prachetas, they don't know. They know they have little knowledge. Hmm. But Lord Shiva comes and gives knowledge to how to worship Lord Krishna, how to worship and how to meditate on Hari. Lord Shiva comes and instructs them Rudra Gita. Hmm. And they regularly chanted Rudra Gita and they perfected their life. So while they are performing the tapasya under the bed of a lake, and sorry, inside the lake, their father Prachina Barhi, like now who was attached to all these yagnic rituals. Mm. See, more than materialistic living is performing everything as a sacrifice towards Krishna. Mm. So it is said that as per the injunction of the Vedic scriptures, one should develop total renunciation from the material world. Mm. So we should actually, to say frankly, we should stop eating. No, like no, I'm not saying literally stop, but it is actually the standard is eating all the material activities, no, eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. We have to minimize as much as possible. Then we have to engage all the time that we got is in our spiritual life. That is not possible for all of us. That's why this aspect of regulation took place. So Prabhupada says, uh, for one who is actually thinking that uh, uh, for one who is actually thinking the sense gratification as a goal of life, for them active spiritual life didn't begin at all. So as I told you, we have to start from taking the little bit of little bit. So what we can do, what we can start with. So that's why, like now, when we go to some new person, totally new persons, we just take Mahaprasam and give them, and then we tell them try to invite them weekly once to associate with the devotees, and then start from there. Start associating with the devotees, and someday start chanting 16 rounds, and someday give up these four sinful activities, and then on someday you take initiation. That is a progression. So like that, this Prachina Barhi also, he was performing these sacrifices. That is a pious thing that he know. So rather than grossly enjoying without any acknowledge towards uh, higher authority, like Prachina Barhisha, he actually performing the animal sacrifice. So, and he is sincere about it. He is sincerely doing it. Now he should not stay on the table only, because that is a karma kanda aspect. Karma kanda aspect will actually it will promote them to the heavenly planets. Hmm. So from karma, he has to move to jnana, and then from jnana to bhakti. Hmm. So now, prachetas, prachetas and prachinabari, every one of them are the descendants of Dhruv Maharaj. So being the descendants of Dhruv Maharaj, uh, they have they should be delivered from this material existence, because Krishna says, right, when a person becomes a devotee, I think 17 or 14 generations, 14 generations from the past and 14 generations of the future will be automatically delivered. That's how Narsingadev gives benediction to Prahlad Maharaj. So now they also are eligible to get delivered out of the causeless mercy of Krishna, but being a coming as a descendants of the great devotee Dhruv Maharaj. But they also have, but they will automatically get the eligibility for liberation, but they will not have the eligibility to go back to Godhead. So going back to Godhead, if you remember the pastime of Ajamil, we covered Ajamil's story, right? Hare Krishna.
Yes, bro.
So if you see Ajamil, when Vishnu has come, Ajamil actually Vishnudutas protect Ajamil from the clutches of Yamadutas, but they didn't take him back to Godhead. Why? Because one has to achieve favorably, like no, the qualification to go back to Godhead. They should have developed love of Krishna in this material world, so that they will become, they will become eligible to go back to Godhead. For one to go back to Godhead, they should be favorably perform bhakti. So means uh, as being the descendants of Dhruv Maharaj, Prachetas and Prachina Barhishad, they are eligible to go back to Godhead. They are eligible for liberation, but not qualified to going back to Godhead. So when somebody attains moksha, in the liberation, impersonal liberation, there is no activity at all. It is only the absence of misery. You're following, right? There is different levels of liberations also. It starts with the impersonal liberation. So even in the middle world also, when you come in the association of devotees, you will be relieved from so much of anxiety, so much of negativity, so much of material contamination. That is one kind of liberation. As we progress in devotional life, we become more and more purified and more relieved from the clutches of material existence. So in the same way, this in the liberation aspect also, if a person is non-devotee, mm, mm, but he has so much of good karma, mm, then he is eligible for liberation. Like just the way uh, Ajamil, he would have got liberation, mm, impersonal liberation, or uh, just like the descendants of a great devotee, they are eligible for liberation, but they are not eligible for going back to Godhead. So but when they get liberated, what will happen is they go and stay as a, like it is said that there are gradations. Okay, material world is the happiness in the material world is can be like if all of your senses and all of your good health and all of your senses are very nice, it can be considered, happiness can be considered as 1x. So happiness in the higher planetary system keeps on increasing. If you go to Sargaloka, it is said 1000x, means 1000 times more happiness than the material world. If you go to Brahmaloka, 10,000x. No? Like that, if you get liberated, it is much more than the Brahmaloka, because there is no misery at all in the Brahman existence. There are impersonal liberation. But if you go back to Godhead, all these happinesses on the level of the impersonal liberation or in the Swargaloka, they are like a drop of happiness. When compared to a person going back to Godhead, his happiness is like Ananda Sagara. It is the ocean of happiness. So whatever the greatest happiness that we achieve on the Swargaloka, Brahmaloka, or in the in the state of impersonal liberation, can be considered as insignificant drop when compared to the person going back to Godhead. The happiness is the ocean of happiness. So if you have a drop of water, how much can it satisfy you? And compared to ocean means like if you go to Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean, the immense body of water. So going back to Godhead is cannot be compared to the happiness or advancing in bhakti or having a purified senses and tasting the reciprocation from Krishna or personal loving devotion service towards Krishna. is the ocean of happiness. So Bhaktyananda, they call it Bhaktyananda, or when a devotee automatically experiences it. So, they are qualified for the impersonal liberation, but for if they will be going back to Godhead, they will do a lot of good for themselves. So that's why Narada Muni, out of his causeless mercy, comes and meets Prachina Barhi, or King Maharaj Barhishat. So when Narada Muni comes, Prachina Barhishat is being a pious king, he welcomes Narada Muni, and then he like when any spiritual person, any devotee comes to our association, we have to inquire from him, we have to listen from him. That is the best way to take advantage of the devotees. So that's why prachar or taking association of devotees means not just physical association. Physical association is also good, but listening from them and following their instructions is actually taking the association. So when Narada Muni comes to the palace or the kingdom of Prachina Barhi, he serves him and he gives all the makes him comfortable, and then he started listening from Narada Muni. And Narada Muni, out of compassion towards Prachina Barhi, he said, "You are actually engaging in all these karmic activities, killing the animals in a sacrifice." Narada Muni shows, like, how much like these dead animals are waiting for you to die, so that they will have their revenge in your next life. So even in our life also, we knowingly or unknowingly uh, do things for granted. So uh, we should not even harm anybody or anyone or even animals also, because everything goes in the laws of karma. If you harm an animal, you have to in this life you have to repay it to the pain that you caused to them in the next life. Hmm? So in the next life they will kill you, and they will take the they will like it is said that, like somebody who kills animals or for eating meat, or uh, in eating meat, the sinful activity, the sinful reaction is distributed among the six people. The person who sells animal for killing to the slaughterhouse, the person who transports, the person who cuts the meat, the person or kills the animal. This is the grossest, what do you call, uh, more degree of punishment to the person. Okay, and then who sells the animal, who cooks the animal, and who eats the animal. All six people, all six varieties, six people associated with the killing of animal will get the reaction. So Nardamani shows with his mystic power, shows how the animals are waiting for him to die, so that they will kill him. This also happens in the story of Mrugari. Hmm. So then after witnessing this vision shown by Narada Muni, Prachina Parishad becomes very much what do you call, like submissive, and then he wanted to get relief from this, uh, situation. Now, Prachina Barashi, Narada Muni, like, no, he doesn't say, okay, you don't do this, you don't do this, you don't do this. He doesn't say. But why he showed is, you are performing all these sacrifices to achieve happiness, more happiness by getting promoted to the heavenly planets. But on the contrary, you are killing so many animals, and they are waiting to avenge you. So how come? How are you going to achieve that result? That uh, that you are uh, which is your goal? You see, I already told you, right? So because he is so much attached to the uh, performing sacrifices, he in the sacrifices we they use kusha grass, for sitting and for doing all those things. He ordered that in his kingdom that kusha grass is grown everywhere. Hmm? So that Everybody should do sacrifices, and everybody will attain the perfection of heavenly planet. So, following the king, there are kushagra grown everywhere, and people are engaging in this. Not some people, not at least. No? Because see, the leader, especially the political leader or the society of the leader of a society, his consciousness plays a major impact on the followers. That's why any person who is in leadership position, if he becomes a devotee, he will also promote every one of his followers to become a devotee. This applies to the king. This applies to the you parents. This applies to the community leaders. This applies to the Bhaktiruksha leaders. And family also. In a family, parent and mother and father, they are the leaders of the family. So their consciousness, their way of living, their lifestyle, their priorities will have major impact on the lives of the followers. So like that, after following the Prachina Barishar, and these sacrifices are very commonly happening in his kingdom. So now Narada Muni tries to convince Prachina Barishar, and by showing him, and Narada Muni started narrating the story of Puranjana. So Puranjana is an allegorical story because if a person is attached to something, he would like to listen the lifestyle of that person only. If you go to a scientist, when you narrate a story of another scientist, then he can be able to correlate with that character. If you go to a child and talk to him about another school going child, for example, talk about Dhruva Maharaj, he was also child, now he was like, then kids will get very much get attracted. That's why if you see, the kids get attracted to Prahlad pastimes because Prahlad was a child. If this main story happened of Narsinghdev's appearance happened due to Prahlad, happened when Prahlad was a child of 5 years. So like that, Narada Muni started giving an allegorical story of Puranjana to Prachina Parishad. So Puranjana means a person who is residing in a body. Pura means the city. Ranjana means enjoyer, the enjoyer of the body. Okay. So then this Puranjana actually is the soul. He's a soul traveling to different bodies. Okay. So finally, this Puranjana, he's actually has a friend. His name is Avignata, super soul. And Puranjana traveled all over the world to fulfill his desires. Means the soul traveling through different species of life to find a suitable body. And once he saw city of 9 gates, and capital of the state was hot. Okay, so like he gets a metal body, the human form of body. And then Narada Muni gives very elaborate description about about different airfall, springs, etc. Unfavorable circumstances were enjoyment and like that. Then Puranjana nicely was enjoying in this city of 9 gates, the Pura. Then he wanted to no, he meets a woman. His woman is the good intelligence. Okay. So intelligence meant for sense gratification, okay, not for spiritual upliftment. So a soul, when it comes into this mental existence, accepts a body, it will have the intelligence, and then with the intelligence will help the soul to enjoy well in this material body. So he made some. He made a woman with 10 servants, and each with hundreds of wives. 10 servants means 10 senses, and each of the 10 senses have hundreds of desires. Hmm? For example, tongue has different varieties to taste, and ear has different varieties of enjoyment, and then eyes has different varieties of enjoyment. So like that, all these senses have different kinds of sense gratification. 10 kinds of, especially 10 kinds of sense gratification, and protected by five hooded snakes. No, we already discussed, right? This five hooded of snake will represent five vital life aids. Okay. and she, that lady, that intelligence was looking for a husband, and this Puranjana, he is looking for a wife. So both of them come together and get married. Okay. And when the beautiful lady becomes Puranjana's queen, and Puranjana inquires about her identity, servants, and confirms that she's not Lakshmi. Or like, okay, she thinks that she's directly the goddess of fortune. But and finally, after they get married, women gets attracted to Puranjana. She admits ignorance about her birth, residence, and all of us will fulfill your desires. You may live for in this city for 100 years. Okay. So after they getting married, they stay in this metal body. No, the once we get this metal body, we stay in this metal body and then start enjoying. What does the mind do? Mind demands, okay, I wanted to enjoy this. Then intelligence will make arrangements using the senses. Okay, so it's on the level of subtle body, the soul and the subtle body. Subtle body comprises of mind, intelligence, and ego. So if you see when the soul identifies with the mind, it is ignorance. And the soul actually, soul expresses its desires through the mind. Soul misidentifies itself with the mind, and mind will demand the desires, and intelligence will provide the facilities of how to fulfill those desires. So, like that, intelligence is satisfying the desires of the mind, desires of the soul. Then they kept enjoying in this material world. So and these nine gates, they are like in this Srimad Bhagavatam also. These nine gates and the other inhabitants, there is elaborate description on that also. So these nine gates, left eye, right eye, two nostrils, and then mouth. They all have different destination. They have different kinds of sense objects. Okay, so these are all these are all facilitating the soul in the enjoyment of the matter. Okay, and after that, uh, Puranjana completely under the control of five and engaged in the fulfilling his desires. All the Puranjana's activities are followed, and then so like that, the enjoyment of the soul as a Puranjana, along with his intelligence, is described in the chapter number 25. So, if we when we move to next chapter, it will describes about how, uh, like sometimes this like a person enjoying in this material world, along with his intelligence, is to one level it is okay, means it is not very sinful. But sometimes the due to the soul's desire for more and more enjoyment, because everybody wants to increase their enjoyment, everybody wants to increase their happiness, as much as possible. So they people in general, they are not satisfied with the amount of enjoyment they are getting right now. They proceed further to engage themselves in some sinful actions. So, like that, this Puranjana also, who has been enjoying in this material life for so many years, he goes out of the way and start performing some sinful activities. That we'll discuss in the next chapter, okay? And how, like, it will lead to his downfall and all those things. So, right now it's already time. If anybody have any questions or comments, you can take it now. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, so this mm, Prachin Bharisad, he comes under lineage of Dhruv Maharaj, right?
Yes, yes, Ravi.
How many generation down is
Generation lineage is big, but no, uh, I have to refer it back, Prabhu. But he is in the
oh
lineage of Dhruv Maharaj.
okay,
But he is within the his 14 generation window.
oh 14 window.
He, like the modern scientists also they confirmed, right? The DNA of a person will carry for 14 generations, or no, like for example, Dhruv Maharaj's DNA is there, right? It will carry for 14 generations. So means like Dhruv Maharaj will have the DNA of 14 generations of the past and 14 Dhruv Maharaj DNA will continue for 14 generations of the or 14 or 21, I don't know exactly. So like that means they are in that window, but also as I told you, they will have some pious credits like no Agnat Sukruti. Then
Mm-hmm.
only they will come and take birth in that family. So see, a, when a person taking birth in certain family, like based on his qualification and based on the qualification of his parents. That's why it is said that, right? Kali will take birth in Vishnu. Sorry, not Kali. Kalki. Hmm? Kalki will take birth in the nice Brahmin family. Like no, even though he is living in the Gora Kali Yuga, that's but still he was able to maintain that consciousness. If you see the devotees, they maintain so high consciousness. It is like no, for example, before coming to ISKCON, I didn't even know the people like this exist also.
Mm.
Like before coming to ISKCON, I used to think, "Arey, everybody is sinful. Everybody is like no, just trying to exploit each other. Boys are cheating girls, and girls are cheating boys. No illicit affairs, drinking, meat eating, exploiting nature. I used to see like is this entire world is like this? Means like I couldn't see one perfect person also that at that point of time. But after coming to ISKCON, I couldn't see anybody with any defects. Everybody thinks, oh, very exalted personality. So, like, no, when we come into that circle, then your total consciousness totally changes. And like anybody who walks into temple, he seems. I could see only like no greatness in them. Like I could see everybody is so nice, like because so gentle, so humble. Like I didn't even know people like this existed before. So like that, uh, like parents when they maintain proper consciousness, they'll have the qualified children also, and children's sukrutis, children's past karma will be taken into account to give birth in that certain family. Like it is said that no, like somebody who actually does lot of good karma, they go to heavenly planet, and then if they are not pure devotees, they will come back again, and they take because they have the credit of performing bhakti in their previous life, but their bhakti is not 100%. They will come back again into this material world, and they resume from whatever the percentage. For example, if somebody did 90% of the bhakti, then they start from 91% in their next life. That's why if you see devotee kids, they start bhakti right from the childhood because they are continuing from the previous life. So like that, a person taking birth in devotee family is already well qualified, and like that, in this Prachina Barhishad also, he uh, is a descendant of Dhruv Maharaj, and Prachetas already they attained perfection by meeting Lord Shiva, and they are nicely performing devotion service. And this one person in the middle, this Prachina Barhi, Parishad, he is actually missing out because he has a glorious glorious what you call lineage of past of Dhruv Maharaj, and he has glorious lineage of Prachetas who are his followers. But in this middle, this is the one person who is getting lost due to his materialistic activities. That's why. Narada Muni comes out of his causeless mercy and gives his association to Prachina Bharishat and narrates him to the story of Puranjan.
Oh, so what is the difference between karma kanda, and karma yoga? Means Prachin Barishat was engaged
Yeah.
in karma kanda, right?
So see, like
Karma kanda, and karma yoga.
the karma is the heading. Okay, it is split into karma kanda and subtitle. One subtitle is karma kanda, and another subtitle is karma yoga. So karma did in favor of devotional service. That is called karma yoga. In favor, like for example, I told you right. Somebody who is only using performing activities for their own sense gratification, it is called karma kanda. Somebody who is actually performing activities, devotees also have to work, devotees also have to cook food, devotees also have to do business, devotees also like unknowingly they do some violence, because when you start cooking also you are killing some microorganisms, uh, or knowingly unknowingly, like when you are imposing some principles of regulation, you are hurting somebody. So absolute non-violence is not possible. Okay. So karma yoga means something done in as a service to Krishna is called karma yoga. But something done only for sense gratification is called karma kanda. So all we have to do is dovetail all the propensities in the service of Krishna. We have to move, we have to spiritualize all our activities in this material existence and then move to karma yoga. So that's how we purify our existence. Because as long as we live in this metal world, we have to perform activity. Without performing activity, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, everything is an activity. But everything has to be done in the service of Krishna. That's how get we don't get any reaction. Everything has to be done as a sacrifice to Krishna. Then we don't get the reaction. So with respect to Krishna consciousness, Krishna will purify our past, purify our present, and purifies our future also. See, like before coming to bhakti, you have done something, something, something. But right now, when we start engaging in bhakti, Krishna will spiritualize past also. How does he spiritualize? Because you might have acquired some skills or uh, some either material, spiritual, material or subtle or social skills out of your past life. That when you use that in Krishna service, then you are spiritualizing your past activities also. And whatever you are doing right now, it will go into for the future also, right? So that's how you'll it will spiritualize your future also. And anyhow, while doing everything in service of Krishna, we're already spiritualizing our present. So that's why devotees will get liberated from all these materialistic entanglements by the mercy of Krishna. Is it clear, Prabhu?
Thank you, bro.
Anybody have any more questions or comments? Okay, we'll end here. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you all very much.
Gauri Prabhu ki jai. Thank you, bro.
Prabhupada
Hare
ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.